Hi there, my name is Sarah Nickerson, and I am a psychic medium intuitive, and I am the founder of NextGEN Medium. If you watch the videos on my channel, you'll see it's been a while since I did a video, and let's just say I'm doing a little energetic journey, a little more exploration of the breadth of human experience that can be achieved. It's not all easy, but it's being done. And doing so has really taken me away from NextGEN Medium. And I'm looking to reconnect with NextGEN Medium again. And it's been really difficult to prioritize having many jobs and having children and having a home and just trying to survive right now has been very difficult. And I am at a point where I just got to get back to working my purpose and waiting for the perfect moments in order for that to happen just aren't presenting themselves. So I kind of have to force it. And so, despite getting up at 4 o'clock this morning to go to work, worked for several hours, and then got home to work more hours for a different job, and then fall asleep because I'm so friggin' tired, and then got up and ate something, and it's about time for me to go back to bed again in order to do the day all over again. This time with kids going to school because I had a snow day today. I'm making the time to do this video, and this video is going to be sort of called a recommitment video, and it's sort of doing it for me, not so much for you, but it is a video that is supposed to be like, what is the point of what I do? And so that way, when you come across my stuff, this is sort of like what I hope people would see first when they come to my YouTube channel, or something I can put on my website for people to know about me, get to know me. And this way, it's sort of, I feel like my bases have been covered as to who I am, what I do, why I care, and yeah, and then go from there because I don't know if this stuff is necessarily defined for people. And so my job is to define that so you know. So let's do that. So I'm a psychic medium intuitive, and the way I like to say that is I have learned the skills. I've become aware of the other senses we have and have gained evidence of proof of these, and it took time. It was not overnight things. Gain awareness of certain concepts that have to do with emotion as a tool. And also with that, combining these two things, also understanding purpose and how to identify that for yourself, and what are the steps to it, and what is the point of our everyday. I was recently on a podcast called the George Havid podcast, and it was wonderful to be with him, and I really feel like I've been charged back up to be a voice out here in video land, to help other people navigate very simple things about life that we aren't taught, that we sort of have to find for ourselves. And sometimes that takes a self development journey. Sometimes that takes getting to a deep, dark place in order to listen to what other people have to say about this stuff. And what really fuels me is people finding their own internal power. And what gives you that power is understanding your choices, understanding what your options are and when they present. Because so often we are just going in a routine, we're just going in this formula that we've been working with for so long. We don't even recognize that it occurs. And with that, we just fly by our options and we give our personal power. I hate saying it like that because it sounds so, oh, what's the word? Self-helpy, personal power. But really, we are talking about personal power, and maybe personal authority is the big, big word. Um, and that's something that I've been going through a lot this year. And maybe that's the word why I feel like it's so powerful, because it has been so powerful for me this year, and powerful in a way that gets really deep, really uncomfortable, almost like painful. Um, I don't know how deep I want to go with that concept, but this I will give you. When we are busy changing ourselves for an external authority, we are not able to capture our own. It's like we're holding off authority at all costs, and that means your authority as well. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. But let me tell you why I do what I do. So my work as a psychic medium intuitive, what brings me passion isn't doing readings for people. I mean, that's something you can do with that stuff. But my passion is making people aware that that's available for you too. Because my story is I lived for about 30 years. Like, weird things would happen. I didn't really recognize how weird they were. And then one day occurred, and then um, a year later, I was saying I'm a psychic medium and doing readings, and really felt its truth and belief for me, in my world, in my reality, from what I experienced, from the evidence I gained doing things, which I want to show you and tell you how, not in this video, in another video. That is my story. That I didn't know I could do it, and then I was doing it. And like I said, it took me about a year for me to be like, okay, this is really happening. I can do this. I can do this with people in front of me. And I can rely on this. It is a tool. It is like tuning. Like, I have to go back to old school radio. How you have like a broad spectrum of frequencies, and when you move the dial, it moves across the frequencies. And so getting to know your tools means you have to move the dial, and it's got to move around a little bit, and it takes time and experiences in order for you to fine tune into a frequency. As an example of our radio, old school radio um, metaphor here. So yeah, so it that's my story. I didn't know I could do it, and then I could do it. And I'm the kind of person that gets really like, well, the other thing I need to add is that within that year, because really it was 6 to 8 weeks where I felt like, holy shit, this is changing my reality. This is how I understand my reality, how I understand it. I think it's evolved. I think it's changing. I think I've witnessed the impossible. Like, the things I didn't think were me, I'm seeing are available to me. But the year that it took for me to finally come out of the closet to people and be like, listen, I am a psychic medium. That year really showed me how difficult the process is, because there's so much of our conditioning that makes us question everything to do with psychic mediumship, from its validity to utilizing your intuition, which absolutely is a part of psychic mediumship. And I'm super, super like hot about intuition, and that's going to be its own video. But there's so much that fucks with our emotions, and I mentioned this in the podcast interview with George, um, that it really disconnects us from who we are. Um, it really disconnects us from being the authority that guides our journey. And we're just in a life of reacting to everything outside of us. And that's not a life where you have control of like anything. That's everything else having control of you. But so there's my story. And then during that year, I'm realizing how hard it is. And then I'm realizing I can't be alone in this, how difficult it is to get to a place of seeing the information from an objective observation place. That's really hard on its own. And then on top of that, a social understanding of this stuff. I come from like super sciencey background, like not a lot of religion at all. And so science was sort of like explaining the things around us. And there's really no science about like psychic mediumship or intuition or anything along those lines or natures. The metaphysical, I think we're getting closer, maybe, than when I was a kid. But so getting to a place where I could say to other people, you know, I'm a psychic medium. Like even that was really difficult to share that, because then you're sharing something vulnerable. I was embarrassed to say it. In fact, I remember a Facebook message that I sat on for quite a while where I was trying to get people to do readings on, because I wanted to sit down and like do actual readings. Not that I really had any way to prepare for that other than just like, I'm just going to decide to do this and see what happens. But I sat on a Facebook message for 2 weeks because I was scared of what people were going to think of me, where I was testing this out. Not that I really believed it at that time, like 99% believe it. I was very confident in it, but to be able to do it with another person, that puts it at another level. I don't think I look back now and I don't think you need to get to that place in order for the abilities to really be truth for you or not. But for me to be able to sit with someone and have information for them and to pass it along to them right there in the moment, and for them to validate in the moment, it puts things on a whole different level. And really, when we talk about purpose, which we're going to talk about in another video, what inspires you, what creates action from inspiration, needs to be shared, because that's how you help people in some way. Either you inspire them, you inform them. I'm sure there's many other instances I could put here, but that's a part of the journey. I pretty much just had told you the things for for that video, but I'm sure I could get much more detail. Yeah, I mean, my journey took so much time and so much inner conflict and awareness to gain that it should take about a year. Now, you know, and I was on a journey where I really didn't want a lot of information from other people about their experience or how they do psychic mediumship, and I did listen to some stuff, but I wanted to go on it on my own journey. And so I had this experience of sort of intuitively guiding myself in this journey, understanding and gaining awareness during that time. And it was like the best thing that I can do with this is, yeah, give readings, because that helps people. But for me, believing this stuff took experiencing it myself. And when you experience it yourself, you understand truth in a way you will have never, ever, ever, ever have experienced it before. Um, it really changes your whole perspective of what is going on in this world. That, yeah, there's a physical component, but there's something else too. And what that something else is something for you to experience and for you to gain belief in, which also means you need to create your own world of belief. For me, my journey coincided with a spiritual awakening. And I don't know if this could happen for other people, where they do a meditation and they're going in there. And this is stuff I'll explain in my other videos, but you do a meditation and you go in there with the intention of, I want information. Information I don't know, information that I can find on Wikipedia, or I can talk to a friend who would know this information, or give it time and it might unfold for itself and be proof for me in the future. I believe for me, it was doing meditations, and it took about 5 hours of one class that I took. We did a bunch of meditations, being in the place of imagination and being there to explore and be curious, but also with an intention of like, I want information. I want proof. And I'm not tied to an outcome. I'm just here to see what happens. A couple days later, that's how my spiritual awakening, I think that's what initiated things, but it was a couple days later that things really, like the whole world, my whole world started evolving and changing to what became this beautiful spiritual awakening, where the world is seen very, very differently. The colors are different. How I relate to like the sky is way different. Sometimes I'm afraid to tell that part of my spiritual awakening because I think it kind of freaks people out. And my plan down the line is to do a podcast where I really go into detail about my experience, and kind of relate it to growing up, and you get some insight on like where I came from and what was my kind of reality. And my hope with this podcast that I'm going to be bringing to you in the spring, is that it's so relatable. That's my hope, is that you listen to the podcast and it's so relatable, but this person went through this incredible experience. And the point is for you to be like, this is relatable. Why can't this be my story too? You know? Now, I came to a place of belief, but the things that I want to do is give you exercises, give you concepts to work with, maybe even give you homework if you want that too, and resources in order for you to explore things for yourself and for you to have the choice to look through the door and to see the things, and for you to decide if it's your truth or not. Nobody can do that for you. That is yours. That is your authority. I haven't even gotten to like the top part of my page here, but there's so much to the journey that is very rewarding. You really get to know about yourself. You all of a sudden open up to a new world that you have the equipment to tap into already. It's innate, it's there. You start to uncover this internal compass, personal compass. And I'm the kind of person that really loves creating the concepts of helping other people learn this. Like, it just, give me a cup of coffee and I will be sitting for 5 hours just writing out how I'm going to teach someone, like how to understand, how to practice, how to use your senses, how to do the, like, I get really like really passionate about that. And that's how I know that that's my purpose. I get way more passionate about that than like getting ready to do readings. Um, Readings definitely had their time when it was something exciting, and but it was also educational, and it's still that, and that's why I continue to do it, because it's still educational. It's a practice. But teaching people to do this, that's what it's about, and that's what I'm about. So I've actually created lots of things for people to be able to do this stuff. I've created an e-course. I've created an ebook. I'm gonna miss stuff. I've made a podcast. I've actually made a couple podcasts. Um, I have a blog and this vlog, and there have been, I'm sure, other things. I actually did a course called Own the Sovereign Self, which is about the three things that I'm most passionate about: the psychic mediumship window, um, the intuition thing, which is like the biggest thing you'll ever experience in your life. Like, you don't have to believe in God, you don't have to believe in metaphysics. And I see people that are already talking about this stuff but not using the word intuition. So I'm just gonna say what it is. It's fucking intuition. God. And then and then three is life purpose. Like, everybody wants to know that, right? But you can't really do the life purpose without that intuition. And you can't really do the psychic mediumship without understanding what your intuition is about. Intuition is just foundational. It's just such a big fucking deal. But okay. So, this is what I want to do. I'm 22 minutes in. I want to help give you the tools and concepts to tap into your innate psychic medium abilities. I want to help you recognize and utilize your intuition. And I want to help you define and work your personal purpose. Like, this is why NextGEN Medium is a thing. NextGEN Medium was set up to be more of a community kind of culture kind of thing. And that's what it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be like, I'm NextGEN Medium. It was supposed to be, I'm a part of that. I just happen to make it. I gotta take a look at my notes because I riffed off this. This is my purpose right now, is to teach this stuff. I've spent 5 years discovering, compiling, creating information, and offering my insight as a teacher and mentor with my website, blogs and vlogs, blog and vlog, my NextGEN Medium podcast. I have offered programs and workshops in person, one-on-one, e-courses. I'm a very idea concept focused person who is naturally interested in breaking down how this works. If you care about astrology, and I know I shouldn't bring astrology up because astrology's frou-frou, woo-woo, and I got to admit that I'm not super convinced of astrology, but it definitely has a language in this kind of stuff, and I'm willing to include that. I am, this is what I gotta bring up, like birth chart stuff. I am a double Gemini with a Leo ascendant. So that's 2 air signs and, I can't believe I'm saying this, 2 air signs and a fire sign. So air is fuel for the fire, and air is about ideas and like creation, like creating things out of thin air. It's also, I think air is linked to technology as well. So um, it's something that I've always known about myself, but getting to know astrology was sort of like, oh, well, this could maybe define something for people, and maybe that's kind of an interesting thing to put in the bracket of, is astrology real? You know? But, you know, having the experiences I've experienced, and this is how you're going to hear me talk, because I'm not going to say this is how it is. I'm going to say from my experience, from my understanding, I have to imagine that these massive objects have some sort of energetic influence in some way. I mean, the Earth certainly does. People certainly do. How can Pluto not? And Pluto, you're still a planet to me. I'm still upset about that. A couple, my idea, motivational thing, with living a third of my life not knowing that I could do this, and I gained a mission in telling my story of discovery and truly believing that I cannot be alone in this discovery, in this shift, that this is available to anybody. I plan on releasing a podcast, I already said this, in the spring. That's really gonna detail, this is actually information about it. Zoom in, maybe you'll get a preview. But there's stuff from my past that I'm going to be including in this podcast that I'm still like writing it out, because it's going to be like a scripted podcast, but there's still like there's things from my past that when they happened, I wasn't going like, that was a psychic experience. It was, that's weird. Anyway, moving along. Day to day. Bloob bloob. Bloob bloob bloob. Yeah. So, those are some things that I'm gonna kind of bring to light in the podcast. So, it's so easy to get super logical or dismiss some things that I look back on now and I go, that was psychic. Not a lot of mediumship stuff for me in my background, though. I will say that. So, why is this important right now? Let me tell you why this is important right now. I think I was on Reddit. I prefer Reddit over the other social stuff. And I saw an ad pop up. And it was supposed to be a video of Elon Musk touting this product. And I knew damn well that was not Elon Musk. But here was a business deep faking Elon Musk and trying to sell me something. While this is an example of me going, that is so fake. Oh my god, I can't believe they did that. Oh my god, they're gonna get in trouble. What online are we seeing that we're not noticing is deep fake or fake or not our real reality? We are having the truth taken away from us. Psychic mediumship allows you access in a different way. I didn't even talk about what psychic and mediumship are. So psychic, something that the government has actually been pretty hot about themselves. I know of one remote viewing program that you can actually Google right now. Remote viewing CIA. And there will be like a 30-page document or something that comes up. And it's something from the 1980s. And at that point, that program had been around for, I want to say, 30 years. There's another one that was more focused on, well, remote viewing is psychic. So that's me sitting here, going into my psychic place, which is your imagination, by the way. Oh, fuck. It's your imagination? Well, this is all fake. It's not. Just bear with me. That video will come soon. I forgot what I was talking about. Remote viewing is psychic. Okay, so I'm sitting here, I'm in my place of viewing, utilizing my imagination, and I can see what's going on in a different part of the world as if I'm right there. Like I'm standing on the ground, I'm looking at the landscape. Um, or maybe my intention is to see from up above, like I'm on a plane. That could be a possibility. So that's remote viewing. And the government actually created a program where they actually created a way to train people how to do that. Come on. It's psychic. Do they use the word psychic? I'm not sure. Imagine if they did. I wouldn't be sitting here and telling you this stuff because it would already be like accepted in our culture. Oh, Rizzo. She hates it when I close my door. That's my dog, Rizzo. It's not like a child. So why now? Because truth is becoming hard to find. And we know so much more about the world around us, and not just the world that is our world that we can see with our own physical eyes. But there's more truth around us physically too. In fact, using psychic or mediumship abilities, you can get to know the people around you pretty well. And then you start understanding that this world, there's no place to hide. There's no hiding in this world. Like, it's all out there. It's all out there for people to know. The truth is there. And we're pretending, or we are in a delusion, illusion, maybe that's the word, that things can be hidden. Side note, I live in a house with 4 other people and a dog, so there's bound to be background noise. There's no way I can avoid it, so you're gonna have to deal with that. If that bothers you, this is not the channel for you. Again, another instance of like my life is not perfect to be able to sit down and do this and feel like 100% with it. And I'm a all or nothing person, so it's really difficult for me to be like, this is the video I'm gonna put out. It's what I gotta do. We're a society that's moving from having physical things to not having things. What are you talking about, Sarah? We're a materialistic society. In fact, George Habib and I talked about that on his podcast. That was like the focus of our conversation. Is a materialistic society. How does the psychic mediumship fit into that? And I said it really doesn't, because it requires equipment that's in here. Like, other than that, you don't need anything. You just need to be a human. And maybe animals have this too. I don't know. But we are a society that's moving away from physical things. Virtual reality. I was trying to figure out what the fuck the V word was. Virtual reality. This is us putting on a headset and going, all right, I'm in a different world. A non-physical world. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Just can't do it without being interrupted. It is a long video, given that. So here we go from living in a physical reality, using our physical senses, using the physical things, and then we're putting a headset on, going into a virtual reality. I've actually heard about people purchasing land in these virtual reality places, which, like, couldn't you just make land? Like, I don't know. Like, it's gotta go on forever, right? No? Maybe there's, like, communities or something. I don't know. Cash. I can't even remember the last time that I had cash. I always use a card. It's a physical thing. And now you can use your phone, It's not like you physically need something that tells you how much money you have to your name. Luckily for me, it's not a lot, so I don't have a lot to keep track of. But then there's also Bitcoin, virtual money. Something else that's happening is our possessions are now becoming subscriptions. So you don't own it, but it's a service. And I know cars are going in that direction. We'll have to see what else goes in that direction of what we physically will not be owning. And it's like the list is getting shorter and shorter. I remember the years in the 90s when you needed like virus protection for your computer, you would buy a box. And in the box was like a CD. And then you put the CD into the computer. Computers don't have CD player things, CD-ROMs anymore. But and you would put it on your computer, and that would last you, and it was yours, you know, and it would last you until the next year or a couple of years when they made a new version. And now you subscribe, and then you get these new updates all the time, and it messes with everything. What a pain in the ass that is. But again, it all comes down to, for me, what can you believe is truth anymore? And we are not conditioned to be able to tell what the truth is sometimes, because we're supposed to give up our belief to authority, to institutions. And that's another thing that we're seeing a change in, is our sort of the credence of our institutions, you know. I'm really into like archaeology and stuff like that. And here we are facing these institutional archaeologists that are old school and have some mad reps, you know. They have all these papers and all these conclusions. But it's getting to the point where new information that's coming up about archaeology, about ancient humans, which I'm totally into. I'm gonna admit that. I'm on that boat. Like, are they not going to acknowledge how new information is changing the storyline, changing the timeline? And so we're seeing a lot of ego come up, a lot of resistance from institutions about new information that may be coming up. And the scientific process and the way it all works, it's not meant to go as fast as rumors can fly, or, you know, leaks can come out, or people who are really excited about topics see a paper and they want to talk about it. But how much has been done with that paper when it comes to, you know, other people looking at it, other people giving their thoughts about it, or even looking at the information that the paper is about? But anyway, truth. The sly lady. So with the work of psychic mediumship, of intuition, of understanding your purpose, all this work is to open you up to a new reality, to gain awareness, gain options, and to figure out that authority in yourself. I've been learning a lot about my authority this year. And one of my deals with authority is rebellion. Rebellious person. But I'm also the opposite. I'm also a people pleaser. Rebellious people pleaser. It's very confusing in this brain sometimes. In this heart, really. And I learned that my rebellious nature is actually me escaping from those bad feelings that I was feeling. That was a hard one. And a credit to Irene Lyon, who also has a YouTube channel. I saw a video she did on toxic shame, and I can identify with a lot of stuff in there. But one of the things she said, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here a little bit, but one of the things she said was about how exhausted you get after being social, and how that's a sign of toxic shame. It's a sign of a lot of things, right? But ultimately, why are you so exhausted? Because you're pretending. Because you're putting on a mask. And it gets exhausting to have to constantly read people, to constantly have the energy to figure out what the right thing to say is, to put on the smile, to put on the, you know, I'm totally excited about this. You're actually not, but just, you don't want to offend this person. You want this person to like you, whatever. And that was part of my revelation this year as well. But authority was a big one, and how I show up and pretend was another one. And I'm still working through these. It's not like I gain a lot of awareness in one amazing moment. Like, it takes many examples for me to be like, okay, now I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to feel that shitty emotion. Okay, that's a trigger. That's a trigger of like, okay, there's something wrong here. If I'm feeling shitty, there's something wrong here. Like, I shouldn't be feeling like that. But we're so used to feeling like that and then ignoring it, or, and this is part of that intuition thing that we're going to talk about later. These are new tools. New old tools, because they've been around for a long time. And I have my own theories about like how long this stuff has been around for, which is why I have a lot of interest in ancient cultures, because I do believe this is how things were. There was a psychic medium intuitive as part of a tribe. This is the shaman. This, actually, we talked about this in George's podcast too. I really do believe this was a part of ancient culture, and once large civilizations came about, they needed a way to control everybody. So they did that with religions, and they did that with social manipulation, creating these crazy social norms, which are normal to us today. And here we are, completely miserable, anxious, unhealthy, directionless, and running away from ourselves. This is how we gain control of our world, our own little worlds, because there's only so much we can have control of, and there's only so much you are responsible for. Live your reason for living. I don't know why I wrote that. Feel good and help other people feel good too. That is the point of why I do what I do and what you should be doing. So how do I want to do this? This is the longest, like, hey, I just want to tell you a little something. Thank you for sticking with me this long. So if you noticed, this video has like no flash to it. It is bare bones. I recorded it and I uploaded it, and like, the fact that I might have a thumbnail on here should be what impresses you. Because I don't got time to do like all kinds of crazy shit to my videos. I do not have time. I do not have money. I do not have time. I wish I had the time to do that, and then I wouldn't have to work 2 jobs in order to maybe do a video like this. But this is what you got, because what I'm telling you is the gold. This is the gold. This is the reason for the video. It's not to impress you with the visuals. It's not. Obviously. It's the information I've got for you. How am I going to help you with the psychic mediumship skills? Let me get back to my notes here. Give you the tools and concepts to tap into your innate psychic medium abilities, to recognize and utilize intuition, and to define and work your personal purpose. How am I going to do that? I'm going to give you processes that I've developed through analyzing. These are processes from my own experiences, from mentoring that I've developed for other people, using information from outside sources that resonate with my own experiences and theoretical development of the processes. This is stuff I can pass along to you. I also plan on having a Patreon, so I can give you resources through that if you donate. Explain and challenge how we culturally understand things in order for you to make more sense of the processes and concepts. I have to challenge a lot about what you understand and what you know. I can't just come out and say psychic and you be like, okay, like you shouldn't be, okay. because you have to go through the process of witnessing it and seeing the evidence. You need to have your mind blown in order for that to be a reality. Going to a psychic might open you up to that, because there's certainly information you can get there where, like, I went to one psychic medium, and this was like a 15-minute reading. It really wasn't that long. And she mentioned something about my brother. She didn't say sibling, I believe she said brother. And then she kind of looked to the side and she said, Ben. That's my brother's name. Ben. Not Benjamin. Ben. That's what I call him. His name's Ben. So that was certainly an experience for me where it was like, and it was so quick that she did it. Her name's Patty, and she's amazing. So, you know, going to a psychic medium might open that door just a little bit for you to be like, okay, I think I want to venture and do this and check it out. I just want to check it out and see what it's about. I want to offer exercises to try for you to try that have helped me, that will help develop habits and understand expectations of your experiences. Expectations is going to be huge. We don't know psychic mediumship for what it is. Intuition is going to be a rough one. It's not going to be an easy process. Understanding your purpose takes time to understand. But expectations have to be set, or else you feel like, oh, this isn't working, or you have the wrong idea about what's happening. So that's going to be part of what's to come in the videos that I've got for you. Offer exercises to try that have helped me witness. I believe I just said that, Sarah. Set expectations. I said that too. That's why I got a box around it, because I went down and I made that better. Oh, and I gotta say this again. I am not here to give you the truth. I have the truth for myself. I'm going to do my best to tell you when it's my truth or it's sort of widely understood of people who have sort of this higher conscious awareness thing going. There are foundational things that seem to be similar for a lot of people when it comes to like a spiritual understanding or metaphysical world understanding. But there's going to be a lot of things that are nuanced when it comes to you understanding that world for yourself and having experiences of that world yourself. And you're going to encounter things you don't even know how to explain it. You can't even make sense of it. And that makes it really hard. But the more you explore, the more you acclimate, right? And then the more you acclimate, the more your horizons get broadened in this new world, and it's really outstanding. But set expectation that it might change your perception in a way where other people that you know might notice a change and might have feels about that change. Or you might find it hard to relate to other people. Or you might not want to relate to other people and you kind of close yourself off. While I did that for exploration, and I think that's sort of part of the process, staying in that is going to be really hard to live your life. Because remember, part of the purpose piece is to share with others. That's why we got to normalize this stuff so we can actually do our work with each other, right? I'm not here to give you the truth. I'm here to help you get your own truth, which there's a lot of things that you and I will be able to agree on, and you and I will have like we'll have a mutual understanding. We'll get it. There's some people, like, I look at them and I'm like, you know, I know you know. Truth, spiritual, broader foundational elements that resonate with everybody, nuances that become your truth and understanding for now, You will accept that your truth will evolve with time and new experiences. That's why I always say 99%. I'm 99% sure. Because tomorrow, everything, I could have an experience that changes everything. And that's really how we need to think about our journeys, too. Like, this is how it is for now, but it will change, right? And sometimes that's really hard, especially when you're feeling really strong negative feelings. It's hard to say, like, this too shall pass, especially when it goes on for a really long time and you're going, this is not me. I don't want to feel like this. How do I get out of this? I feel trapped. I don't have any motivation to get out. That's why I'm doing this video. I need to get out of this, and this is how I gotta do it. Alright, so that's all I have for my notes. You can check me out at nextgenmedium.com. I should do a little thing in the beginning of the video so people know this. nextgenmedium.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I suck at social media because, as you can see, this video is almost an hour long. I don't care to do the superficial Facebook, Instagram stuff. I don't have it in me. That's why I do YouTube. That's why I do these conversations on Reddit. I would love to put together a Patreon, Discord, community if you wanted to be a part of that. I'm going to have links for this stuff in the description below. Like I said, I have an e-course out that's about what I call soul modes, which includes psychic and mediumship. It also includes intuition. That's the foundation of all of it. All of it is intuition. And I also put healing in there. Not that I talk a lot about healing, but the concepts with intuition and psychic ability, just these two things, set you up for mediumship and healing. Okay? I'm just remembering a phrase that I've heard. Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychics, or something like that. That's bullshit. I'll talk about that later, but don't worry about that. So I have that e-course. It's at my website, nextgenmedium.com. I have a podcast, NextGen Medium Podcast. I'm gonna have a new one in the spring, which is supposed to be like four seasons long. That's gonna be a scripted one, and it's supposed to be very revealing and like super honest about my experience with this stuff. What else do I have for you? I do mentoring. Oh my god, like that is what brings me joy in this life, is to sit with somebody, and it can be a one-off, and you have some questions about, what's my direction, these are the things I'm experiencing, what's going on. And I love to sit with people and help them how it's comfortable for them. So if it's that one-off thing, if it's 3 months that we're doing a mentorship program, I'm open to what people need and what they want. And if I'm that person for you, then check out my website, nextgenmedium.com, and yeah, everything will be down there. So also Patreon link as well. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you got something out of this that makes you feel like a little relief for the years to come, because they're not going to be easy years, please donate to my Patreon. Donating to my Patreon helps me be able to focus on doing this stuff and trying to get information out to people. I've spent the past at least 3 years, like I've done the podcast, I've done the blog, but they're in the videos, vlog, but there's other stuff I've done that has so much information in it and just nobody's finding it. And that's another reason why I wanted to do these videos, because I feel like I'm not doing that last piece of working your purpose, which is sharing with others. I mean, I've published all the stuff. It's all out there. But there's more to that component that apparently I'm just sucking balls at, and I'm hoping these videos like do the work. Um, Move past that step that I've just been stuck on apparently. So donating at Patreon, gonna have goodies for people, but will also help me direct my energy to working my purpose, which is bringing this information about how to utilize your psychic medium abilities, how to tap into that, how to look through the door and have a choice of you deciding, you know what, this is real life, because that's what happened for me. To be able to recognize and utilize your intuition. I can't wait to talk about that. I just saw Diary of a CEO. This is recorded on December 4th, by the way, and I believe it's the newest episode. And they had this woman on. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. I got to do it now. They had this woman on, and she's talking about intuition. But what's the one word she's not saying? Fucking intuition. I am just like, is this real life? Is this really happening? Alright, that's all I wanted to say about that. I actually like fell asleep. I mentioned to you that I took a nap. I was falling asleep and I was like pissed at her. Now, I did only listen like 5 minutes of the conversation, but it was enough that fueled me to be upset that she wasn't mentioning the word intuition. Like, come on, even that word is going to be a word that triggers people to not listen to you? What the fuck? Are we really doing this, people? Are we really doing this? Is it? What? This world needs some help, and I want to be there to help. Okay. High horse. I'm off of it. So donate to Patreon if you found this information helpful. Check out the videos that are to come. Like and subscribe. And notification bell so you know that those are coming. And I'll have stuff in the description below. Thank you for watching. More to come. That is all for now.